In Surah Jathiyah, Surah number 45, ayat number 23, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you seen the one who has taken his Lord as his hawa? Hawa means his desires. وَأَدَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ وَخَتَمَ عَلَى سَمْعِهِ وَقَلْبِهِ وَجَعَلَ أَبْصَارِهِ. And Allah has made that person who has taken his desire as his God, Allah makes him go astray in spite of that person having knowledge, or Allah having knowledge about him. And then Allah turns around and He seals his hearing, He seals his heart, so he cannot hear or feel, and then He puts a veil in front of his eyes so he cannot see. So when you turn your desires into your God, right, that's what Allah is saying here. So Allah makes you go astray. And there's three ways that Allah says that people go astray when you take your desire as your God. First of all is when you have your desire as your God, you are always in a state of confusion in all your affairs. And you are always in this state of indecision and uncertainty. Your mind is fogged up, right? Your mind, there is fog inside your brain where you cannot make the right decision. Should I buy this car? Should I not buy this car? Should I do this? Should I not do this, right? And you're always in this state of constant indecision. Should I marry somebody? Should I not marry somebody? Should I go ahead and make this financial purchase? Should I not make this financial purchase? So you're always in this constant state of indecision when you have your desire become your God. The second thing is that it not only overwhelms you personally, but the whole world, the material world also overwhelms you. It's kind of like, you become where you are trying to be like the Joneses, where you are trying to constantly chase other people in what they have and what their material possession is. For example, I may have a Toyota Supra and I want a Corvette. Or I have a Corvette, I want a Lamborghini. I have a 2-bedroom house, now I want a 5-bedroom house. So you're always constantly chasing these posts, and then what happens is once you reach that goal, you find out that that goal post has moved again, so you're back into chasing this goal post all over again. And not only are you confused, because your mind is all fogged up, because you may have, Allah says that, I send angels to protect you. But when you have the angel right there in front of you who wants to protect you, take care of you, and guide you to the right path, your eyesight is all veiled up according to the ayah, so you don't see them. You are being guided by this angel or angels, but you don't hear them. The angel is speaking to your heart, but you're not hearing him. And then you are constantly doing something else, right? Imam Ali says that your desires are like a wild beast. If you don't tame your desire, the wild beast will tame you. So when this wild beast tames you, now you are in this constant state of confusion where you are constantly thinking, I need to feed this desire of mine and I'll be satisfied. But then what happens is that this desire is never satisfied. You feed it more and more and more, and the more hungrier that desire keeps getting because you're constantly chasing. And then not only that, your brain is all confused with regards to what should I do? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? And the other thing is that when you have your desires not as the front and center, this whole universe prays for you to try to guide you. And then Allah says that I actually lay the world, the risk, right, on your doorsteps. But what happens is we try to find other ways to fulfill the desires that once the wild beast has taken over. I'm trying to get something, I don't get something, so I'm going to go out and fulfill it by illegal drinking. Or I'm going to go take drugs, right? Or I'm going to do haram things that are not, you're trying to fulfill that desire with this hole that you've created. Not only that, your brain is not functioning properly where you are supposed to do A, but you're doing B. What happens is most of the time you may think, Allah says in the Quran that, what you may think actually is hard, there may be actually khair, betterment in it for you. And what you think is actually good for you, maybe there is harm in that for you and you don't realize that. And when Allah sends this risk, right, this provision for you, usually, you get your risk. Everybody, whatever risk they have been destined with, you always get that risk. But then there is this extra risk that comes about with your, good work and good intentions, that comes when you don't have your desires as front and center. And a lot of times this risk or this provision comes for you from a direction you never expected it to come. You may think it's a wall, but it actually is a door. And because you are so in this state of confusion that you actually don't see it, because Allah has sealed your eyesight. A great example is, for example, Iblis or Shaitan or the devil, whatever you want to call him, right? His desire became so much where he started worshiping himself. And he forgot all the logic that was out there in front of him. It wasn't like Shaitan was not the most learned people around at that time. He worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for over 6,000 years. He saw the angel, he saw Allah's creation, he saw Adam's creation, he saw the prophets, he saw the revelation. He saw the test which Allah gave to Adam and angels. He was right there watching. Yet when it came down to putting himself out of the picture, he was not able to do that because his eyesight. Remember what I said, when you take your desire as your God, you actually end up in this constant state of confusion. And what happens is that your hearts become preoccupied with things. And when you are preoccupied with this worldly stuff, what happens is you get distracted from what actually you should be pursuing in the first place. And, what that leads to is a constant state where people face anxiety, mental stress, confusion in their lives, right? And as we talked about last time, right, that humans are not static creatures, right? Our emotions go up and down, and we are always a process. We can, on one hand, 1 second be better than the angels, and then on the other hand, we can be worse than the wildest of the beasts, right? Because of our actions, right? And this emotional control, right, that is called emotional intelligence, comes into play, which allows you to guide this desire or the emotion or the anger in the right direction. And that comes with actually, doing self-reflection and looking at what we need to do and using our emotional intellect to actually guide us in the right direction. There are 4 key elements like we talked about last time, right? One is your intellect. It's not intelligence, it's intellect, it's emotional intelligence, right? It's the ability to be able to control your emotions and be in the moderate place. Islam doesn't say that you should actually control your desires. There's a lot of religions out there which says desire is all. One of the famous sayings for one of the religions that I know come from India, it says desire is the root cause of sorrow. That is the fundamental statement that is out there. You have other, religions where they tell you, okay, to give up desire, you should not marry, right? Or you should, lead a life of being a monk all your life. Islam doesn't promote that. Islam actually promotes the in-between path and going in the right direction. So as I was talking about, first is intellect. Second is anger. Third is desire or shahwa, right? And then the fourth is creativity. So, just like anger, right? Desire also has 3 levels. Anger, when we said somebody who doesn't have any anger, that person is timid, not brave, right? On the other hand, when you have anger where you cause so much damage that you are damaging everybody around you, including yourself, and you're causing harm. And then there is the in between, which breeds courage to stand up for social justice and for the right causes. So same way, desire also follows the same pattern. There's people who actually don't have desire, and that what breeds is called laziness, right? That breeds laziness, where we don't have any goals in life, and these people are so distracted from reality that when something bad really happens, they give up all hope altogether. So not only are they lazy because they don't have any desire, like I said, Islam actually is a meritocratic religion. Because Allah says, Allazi khalaqal mauta wal hayata liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amala. We have created life and death so we can test who amongst you is the best of deeds. So it's a test of best of deeds, right? But if you don't have the desire, how are you going to do actually the test? And what it breeds is what you call laziness, right? And these people struggle to face, hardships in life. And they're often very lazy with their worship or the way they lead their lives. And on the other hand, Islam says that you always should be striving for incremental improvement in your lives, whether it's the worldly stuff and your spiritual stuff. And one good way to look at people who have lack of desire is our Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says people who have lack of desire, right, when they show that they don't care about the state of the Muslims in global affairs, he says those people are not from us or not from me. So we have to work on this desire part as far as making sure that we have goals in place so we don't breed laziness. On the other hand, excessive desire, right, is something like I talked about, right, where you cause damage in the sake of desire, right? You cause damage to yourselves. You cause damage to the people who are near and dear to you. You end up doing actions in order to feed your desire, where you may hurt the people who love you and who you love, who take care of you, but you end up doing something else because your desires are not being fulfilled. So you end up resorting to what you call haram acts, or you cause harm to your family. So, and we don't have time, so I'll leave you with one story, right, that probably drives home the point on this excessive desire, and then maybe I'll highlight what actual desire should be, and we can conclude the khutbah there, right? And this is a story, it may be fiction for all I know. It's some story that my dad used to say to me when I was growing up. So it drives home the point. So there was a young man who used to live with his mother, and he used to love his mother a lot and take care of his mother. One day, as he was growing up, he grew up, he became a fine youth, right? And he met this woman that he fell in love with. So the woman saw that this man is very closely attached to his mother. So she said, the condition for you that I would marry you is that you have to leave your mother and come live with me. So he went and asked his mother, and she said, okay, fine, right? For your happiness, my son, that's not a problem. So he went, married, he lived separately. He would come visit his mother and go in back and forth. Now what happened is that, again, excessive desire breeds jealousy, envy. So the wife didn't like that. So one day she got so angry at him, she said, look, I need you to prove that you love me. So he says, how can I do that? They say, here's a knife, right? To prove that you love me, go cut your mother's heart and bring it over to me. So the man, took the knife, again, desire, right? Blinded. Remember what did I say? You're blinded, your heart's not working, your hearing is sealed up. He took the knife, went to his mother. He says, my wife says, I need to take your heart. Mother says, okay, son, if that will make you happy, go ahead and do it. So he took his mother's heart, cut it out open, and he started running towards his wife with the heart in his hand. On the way, there was a rock, he stumbled and he fell. And he kind of probably hurt his feet. But what happened is there was a voice that came from the heart which says, my son, I hope you are not hurt and you're okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that you forget in your excessive desire that you have people who have the goodness or your well-being in your heart. Remember I said that door, you think it's a wall, right? That door is open for you from Allah for His rahmah and mercy. But you forget and you end up hurting your near and dear ones by doing something that is not, contrary to your nature. And the simplest way to explain this is Imam Ali says, Salawat. Says your desires are like that ocean water, and you are the boat. Yeah, you are in the boat. And as long as the water doesn't enter the boat, you are safe in the boat. But the moment the water enters the boat, you end up drowning. And the same thing with desire, right? If you, as long as you can hold your desires inside of you and not let enter the boat and let the wild beast tame you, you can be successful in this life. But the moment you turn around and let the desires enter the boat, you are going to sink. So you don't want the world to be inside you, you just want to be inside the world. And again, Islam doesn't encourage not following through on doing worldly things. You just have to be detached in a manner where you are part of it, you look at it, you appreciate it, but it's worth nothing to you from that perspective. And the moderate desire, so that's really the concluding part, right? The moderate desire is what is called as haya or moderation. Now in haya, generally we think about it as how we dress, right? But moderation really means in all aspects of your life. So where you are in between, where you don't have no desire, where you are not working towards your goals. On the other hand, you are, the excessive desire where you are burning everybody around you, including yourself, and hurting the things, and the things that are supposed to come to you, you shut the door down for that. So it needs to be in between, and that's really the part of the story that I was going to tell you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا